So for you, Caroline, if you're Aaron Rodgers, would you rather be in Pittsburgh running it back with Mike McCarthy, or would you rather be in Minnesota figuring that you can battle out and hopefully beat JJ McCarthy?
If you're talking about spring break destinations, those are two doozies.
I,
But Minnesota is so clearly the better option for Aaron Rodgers, and it is so much clearly a better option for the Minnesota Vikings. What's the point for the Pittsburgh Steelers to bring Aaron Rodgers back? You're going to win enough games with Aaron Rodgers to be exactly the exact same team that you've been over the last decade. 9-8, making the playoffs, losing in the first round of the playoffs. Stop me if you've heard this story before with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Is that really what's best for Pittsburgh? Is that really what's best for Aaron Rodgers? One of the oldest rosters in the National Football League, with a coach that he has some history with, and it's not necessarily all great history. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense for Aaron Rodgers, a guy who wants to win as much as he possibly can in what is probably his last year in the NFL. Again, stop me if you've heard that before. But for Minnesota, it makes so much sense for Minnesota because they have one of the best, if not the best, wide receivers in the National Football League, who's been very vocal about how brutal last season was for him and the entire team. You've one of the best coaches in the National Football League, and you had a top 3 defense in the National Football League this last year. And oh yeah, by the way, you're bringing your defensive coordinator back. Minnesota was a quarterback away from being a legitimate contender in the postseason. And then it makes so much sense for Aaron Rodgers. Like, it's a team that can win right now. And also, Minnesota can say, hey, if we're signing up for 1 year of Aaron Rodgers, then so be it. We need to upgrade at the quarterback position. And then maybe you could also make the case for JJ McCarthy and say, hey, look, you've had a really rough go at it your first couple of years in the NFL. You've been banged up. The best thing for you right now is to sit on the bench and learn from a pro's pro, a first ballot Hall of Famer, a guy who has seen and played and won a lot of football games. I think that this is the perfect marriage, both for Aaron Rodgers and for Minnesota.
Look, it also, knowing that there's going to just be implosion possibilities. That's what worries me about Minnesota. It's not that they don't have talent. It's not that they don't have great coaching. It's that when it went as poorly as it did last year because of the problems they had in the quarterback room, you just wonder how anybody keeps that together and how anybody keeps stability there. It feels like it is on the edge of just everything exploding in Minnesota. So to me, if I'm the Vikings, I desperately need another quarterback that I can trust because I can't trust JJ McCarthy to stay healthy. And if he is healthy, I don't know if he's really that guy. So if he gets pushed and he gets beat out, like the reality of it is, if JJ McCarthy goes into this camp and this year and gets beat out by a 42-year-old Aaron Rodgers or by Kirk Cousins in this example, if he gets beat out by an old guy that's hanging on by a thread, man, that's a statement about the fact that you didn't want to go into the season with JJ in the first place. And if JJ does beat out the old guy that's hanging on with the thread, well, then hopefully the old guy wants to stick around and at least help in the room. And if he doesn't, well, then you figure that out when you get there. But what you can't do is just roll it out and say, okay, we're going to be just fine with what we did last year. I think that would be absolute fool's gold for the Vikings, and it's a reason people get fired, right? Like, the end of the day, they're not going to get rid of the Justin Jeffersons. They're not going to get rid of the talented players they have. They're going to get rid of the people that decided, and they already have with their GM, to play the quarterback situation the wrong way. When you've watched a team fire their GM in large part because of what they did with the quarterback room, you expect something different with the quarterback room. I think Aaron Rodgers can win a lot more football games in Minnesota than he ever can in Pittsburgh. And honestly, I think it's a
100%.
weird win for the Steelers. Like, if the Steelers don't have Aaron Rodgers and they go out and suck this year, we've said it repeatedly, like, at least they'll get a shot at a quarterback next year. I think Aaron Rodgers wins them, the Steelers, just enough games on a roster that's fine. Wins the Steelers just enough games to frustrate Steelers fans moving forward. It's a lose-lose for Rodgers and the Steelers to me.
It would feel so much more meaningful for the Vikings. I mean, we talked to Joey Molinaro at the Super Bowl, and he was like, no, I don't want Aaron Rodgers. Do not bring him back, please. Because I think that Steelers fans know this story. They've seen this movie before, and they did not like the ending. If you're a Steelers fan, you know what you're signing up with Aaron Rodgers, and it's not good enough. If the Steelers went, let's just say, the Will Howard route, they might be terrible. If they're terrible, that means they're drafting at the top of the draft and can find, ideally, their franchise quarterback in next year's draft. But maybe, what if you find something with Will Howard? What if you find a little razzle-dazzle and a little light at the end of the tunnel, and then maybe you found your quarterback of the future in Will Howard? You don't know what the outcome is if you gamble with another quarterback. And sometimes the devil that you don't know is better than the devil that you do. And if fans feel that way, I don't blame them. In fact, I would probably agree with them. And the other side of this for the Vikings is I know, like we all heard it. The Vikings brass heard it. Probably part of the reason why Kwesi Adofo-Mensah is no longer in the front office in Minnesota. Justin Jefferson has been incredibly vocal and public about his frustrations with the quarterback position. The Minnesota Vikings' number one priority should be Justin Jefferson. Anytime the Vikings take the field, Justin Jefferson is the best player on the field. They need to do everything in their power to make sure that Justin Jefferson feels seen, feels heard, and feels taken care of. What better way to keep your star player happy than saying, hey, we know that you've been frustrated with JJ McCarthy, so here's Aaron Rodgers. Like, if you're Justin Jefferson, you're overjoyed with that, are you not?